Let's check in with Turning Point's White House correspondent Monica Paige. Monica, lots going on, especially internationally. There's outrage, fake outrage, whatever you want to call it, over the situation in Gaza. President Trump saying, well, a lot of different things on a lot of different fronts. Kind of fill us in the gaps on what's going on there, and especially how it's being reported.
Sure, there's been a lot of sideline conversations aside from the huge trade deal overseas in Scotland that's
Hmm.
been reported on. But a main topic has been about Gaza, specifically trying to work with Hamas. There's been, ceasefire deals happening for months, and all we need is Hamas to come to the table to agree on something. And unfortunately, the terror group really won't. So, in turn, the president is kind of taking matters into his own hands and building what he calls a food bank in the region to try and get more aid over to the people that really need it, specifically those children. I'm sure we've all seen those really disturbing images of starving children in the region. But it's interesting because in the previous administration, a lot of the aid was stolen that we gave over to Gaza during this when this war first broke out. We were sending over aid, and the aid was being stolen by Hamas primarily. They were really the perpetrators behind the reason why the people over there weren't getting what they needed. And of course, that pier that was built over there as well to help try and get aid into the region and another way to help ended up being a fluke and killed a bunch of people in the region as well. But essentially, the president is saying, I donate $60 million to get more aid in there. We're going to try and work with the best people possible in the region to try and get these people what they need and hopefully keep Hamas out of the way and get this aid to the right people.
Yeah, it's really a tough situation to kind of report on because nobody likes seeing starving kids. Nobody is advocating for that. But at the same time, personally, when I looked at those photos, like, the lighting is really interesting here, and almost like they
Yeah.
set up this photo op to drive home a particular point. But again, kind of a difficult needle to thread. Regardless, I think President Trump's doing his best he can. In the other front, there's more international news. There's Russia, Ukraine. There's Cambodia, Thailand, which seems like it kind of came and went. What's the news there?
Yeah, so the president is still trying to work between Russia and Ukraine, trying to broker a ceasefire deal. Of course, Ukraine is very excited about a potential of a ceasefire deal, but unfortunately, Russia won't really come to the table. Previously, the president gave Russia a 50-day time limit. Figure out a ceasefire in 50 days or less. Sounds good to us. But unfortunately, there hasn't been much progress made, the president said. So the president speaking today when he was with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and said, hey, listen, Russia, you are now limited to about 10 to 12 days from now, maybe less than 2 weeks, essentially, where you've got to come to the table. There's no progress being made. And if you don't, we will imply or, apply those economic sanctions, those tariffs,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like. And separately, in a whole other situation, of course, President Trump being another peacemaker in chief, he got together with both the Cambodian prime minister and the Thailand prime minister, brokered a peace deal where there's not going to be any fighting anymore. This fighting was lasting, I'd say, about 5 days, and more than 300,000 people in the region were displaced. Dozens of people were killed in the process of this. And the president brokered this deal and essentially called these two prime ministers and said, hey, listen, I don't want to make trade deals with people who are going to kill each other. So that was all that was needed to be said over the phone. And the two leaders said, okay, peace deal, you got it. So that's all it took, which is kind of crazy, Joe Bob.
Yeah, it reminds me of the NATO leader calling President Trump "daddy," which is like, "Hey, yeah, kids, cut it out. Like, don't be doing any of this crap and screwing up everything else for everyone else." Wow, lots going on. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Monica Page, Turning Point's White House correspondent. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.